What has been obvious for a while now and is becoming more and more clear is that electric cars are the future. Some people are 100% for this, while others are adamantly against. Usually there is some form of misunderstanding here that makes people think owning an electric car always is worse than a gas vehicle. Sure, you don't fill up with gas, which can feel good and save some money day to day, but it's a more expensive vehicle with a worse experience, right? Well, today we're going to get into the top 10 advantages of owning a Tesla or electric car, and as you'll see, many of these are benefits that gas cars simply cannot do. So let's get into it. I'm a Tesla owner, and for a little over 2 years now, I've driven exclusively electric. For many, this sounds like a scary proposition that means no road trips, tons of wasted time at chargers, a car that needs expensive repairs, and more, but in my experience, I've actually had many specific benefits. Some of these apply specifically to Teslas, while others will apply to electric cars in general. The first benefit of a Tesla or electric car comes with how quiet the car is. Since there is no engine running in an electric car, the sound the car makes is extremely quiet compared to the average vehicle. When you come to a complete stop, the only sound you really hear is the climate control, and if you turn that off, there is nothing to hear. Once you drive, you only really hear a little tire noise, motor noise, and wind noise. For some, this may take a fun piece out of driving, but for daily driving, it's very nice. It's nice to not be making a lot of noise with your car, and I love that I don't have to start this car ever. It's just on. I go into drive and roll away with basically no sound. Over time, with more electric cars, this will help to reduce noise pollution in general, and I'm excited for that. In addition, when you're idling, there's nothing rumbling, no engine turning off that starts up again when you press the pedal. You're just stopped and then you go. The entire car is running off of a battery, so there is nothing combusting. It just feels very smooth and comfortable all the time, and the other piece of this is the second benefit, zero emissions. There is no tailpipe in a Tesla or other fully electric car. There are no emissions coming directly out of your car, and this comes with many benefits. For one, you never have to be concerned where you're parked. If you could pull your car inside of your house, you would have no concerns about fumes. You can, quote, run your car in your closed garage as long as you want and stay in there. You can precondition the climate controls in your garage on a cold or warm day. You can idle as long as you want while using hardly any energy. You can sit in your garage and listen to music on a great sound system and never worry about fumes. There are no fumes coming out of the car. It's cleaner, there is no lingering exhaust smell in your garage, you never have to worry about idling, and much more. It's just very nice to not need to worry about that and know that you aren't directly polluting in that way. Now right here is where many will say that Teslas are still polluting to make the electricity used to power them. For many, yes, this is still the case. However, Teslas are far more efficient even when charged from electricity created with coal, as opposed to using a gas-powered car. Then if you're able to charge an electric car with sustainably generated energy like solar or wind, you will be emissions-free down the entire line. This is something unattainable with gasoline vehicles. Next for people will be concerns about batteries ending up in landfills, and we'll get there in a bit. The third benefit of a Tesla or electric car is actually what many fear is a downside, charging. My experience with an electric car has been this. Day to day, so around 95% of the year, I drive into my garage at the end of my day, plug in my car, wake up the next morning, unplug it, and drive again. Rinse and repeat. That's it. Notice how there is absolutely no waiting on my part. It takes me 5 seconds to plug in and then 5 seconds to unplug. My car is set up to charge in off-peak hours, charge up to Tesla's recommended 80 or 90%, and with the solid range included in the car, I have at least 250 miles easily available every day. That's far more than I need, so I really only get down to 50% or so each day. Day to day, I save a significant amount of time over finding a reasonably priced gas station, driving there, potentially waiting in line, filling up for 3 to 5 minutes, driving back, and then repeating at least once a week. If you have the ability to charge at home and don't see yourself road tripping constantly, I think it's pretty safe to say that you'll be saving a lot of time by going electric. You also will save a lot of money over paying for gas. Of course, the entry price of an electric car remains high, but if you were already in that price point for a vehicle, charging at home will save you significantly. There are often free city charging stations as well, so if you have one of those near you, you could utilize that to charge 100% free. If you don't have any sort of home charging option or work charging option, that's where you'll want to look into charging options around you, since it can be a little less convenient day to day. Now, I've done a few road trips in these cars too, and those are where you do feel charging speeds a bit. I did a long road trip from Los Angeles to Seattle and back. Tesla has superchargers all over the place that have you covered for most routes, and we had no issues getting where we needed to go. Some charging stops were around 20 to 25 minutes, and we'd time it with getting food, using the restroom, stretching and such, so we really didn't feel the charging time. That 20 minutes wasn't a big deal at all, but clearly is a bit longer than a gas fill-up would be. There are actually arguments here for actually allowing yourself to rest longer and not get fatigued on a trip, but that's for another video. The only times we really felt the charge times were when the day was very long. 16 hours of travel and we're one stop away from home, don't need to use the restroom, don't need to eat, but then need to wait 25 minutes to charge. Those times you can feel the added time, but for myself, I road trip so infrequently that I'm still saving lots of time when I look at the charging over the course of a year. There's also a big trade-off here, which is a reason I still love road tripping in a Tesla versus a gas car: Autopilot. The fourth benefit of a Tesla is Autopilot. All Teslas come standard with Autopilot that includes adaptive cruise control and auto steer. It will keep you centered in your lane and essentially drive for you on a well-marked road. You still have to pay attention and be ready to take over, but on long drives it helps reduce strains significantly. It makes the drive much more relaxing, and for long drives it has become essential for me. It's not a perfect system, and it has room for improvement, but even with its flaws and sometimes phantom braking, the overarching experience of this system is that it's really great to have. For some, road tripping a lot, adding charging time will be a downside, but Autopilot will be an upside, so it is a balance. For myself, it's pretty much all an upside. Autopilot is extremely helpful, and I actually like the experience of charging until it's the end of a long travel day. The fifth benefit of a Tesla or other electric car is speed. Hopefully by now, most people understand that electric cars aren't just souped up golf carts. Still though, many don't realize just how quick they are. Many electric cars have better 0 to 60 times than most cars on the road, and while this is very fun, it's also practical. Merging onto a freeway, making a necessary aggressive lane change, maneuvering around an obstacle in an emergency or other situation are all very easy when you have instant torque. The pedal instantly responds to your input, and there's no delay because there is no combusting that needs to occur. The power is instantly available from the battery, and it's a big part of what makes Tesla's slowest car go 0 to 60 in a quick 5.8 seconds, and their fastest goes 0 to 60 in 1.99 seconds. That 1.99 seconds makes the Model S the quickest accelerating production car ever. It's a very fun part of these cars because you can get a fun ride anytime you want and have fun with friends, but it's also very handy to have. There have been a few times on the freeway where I was very glad to have as much power as I had in these cars. That benefit is something that is enabled because the car is electric. You can't get that same experience in a gas car, and there are a few other benefits that come as a result of a Tesla having a giant battery pack. The entire floor of the car is a battery pack, and this helps enable a slew of features that only these cars have. First are fun things. On screen in a Tesla you have Netflix, Hulu, Disney+, YouTube, and more. You also have games with or without a controller, and these can be played for as long as you want. As we talked about earlier, there is no idling or fumes to worry about. The car only powers what you need at that given moment, and it's from the battery. It's actually a pretty cool thing to have. Not only can you utilize these things when you're at a charger or stop somewhere for any significant amount of time, but you can use it in many ways you wouldn't consider. The sound system in each of Tesla's vehicles is really great, so you can watch a great TV show or listen to music on a very large center screen with an incredible sound system whenever you like. I have actually watched a few Mandalorian episodes myself in my Model Y in my garage. Those are fun things, but there are many practical features as well. You can precondition the climate controls in your car from the Tesla app wherever you are parked. It is connected via the car's LTE connection, and because of the battery, you can do this anytime and anywhere. Not only can you precondition, but you can keep the climate as well. On screen, you press the keep button, and it will keep the temperature where it's at when you go into a store or anywhere for a shorter period of time. I use this all the time in the summer, so I don't have to recool the car's interior back down from 100 degrees or something. In a similar vein here, Tesla includes dog mode. When you go into a store but want to leave your dog in the car, you can turn this on and it keeps the correct temperature. It also shows it on screen very clearly that dog mode is enabled and that the climate is kept at the right temperature. It's safe for the dog and lets people know that they are safe. You can of course use this for other animals as well. It's another feature that you can't have in a standard gas vehicle because it's enabled by the large battery pack included in an electric car. The sixth benefit of a Tesla is a big security feature enabled by the battery, Sentry Mode. Teslas include 8 cameras around the car to enable the Autopilot system, but they also function as a dash cam and security camera setup. When enabled, the car will automatically record anytime someone gets close to the car. You can have this enabled for as long as you want, and it uses relatively low battery for what it's doing. It gives you peace of mind that if someone tried to break in, there would be a saved video clip of it, along with the alarm notification on your phone. Additionally, if you're concerned about the car at any given time, you can just check in through the Tesla app. Streamed over LTE, you can live stream 4 of the car's cameras directly to your smartphone. This can be a bit slow and laggy, but it does work and is a built-in feature of every Tesla as long as you pay for premium connectivity. Most cars are completely off when they're off, or they're utilizing a very small battery. Since you have around 68 kilowatt hours available in each Tesla, features like this are enabled and can very much improve the security of your car. Next up is the 7th benefit of a Tesla or electric car: less maintenance. Electric cars are newer technology, so many fear that all that tech brings expensive repairs across the board. This can happen in some cases, but overall, concerns like a battery pack replacement every couple years just aren't the experience that owners are having. It's a very rare occurrence, and we see that maintenance on a Tesla is significantly reduced because it has far less moving parts. Some general numbers say that there are about 20 moving parts in an electric car versus over 2,000 in a traditional car. That means that many fewer parts that won't need servicing over the life of the car. Kia themselves say, quote, "No oil to change, no engine to manage. With fewer parts to wear down, electric cars are cost efficient and easier to maintain than internal combustion engine vehicles." The US Department of Energy says the electrical system, battery, motor, and associated electronics typically requires minimal scheduled maintenance, and brake systems generally last longer than those on conventional vehicles because of regenerative braking. That last part is one that many don't consider. Brake pads last far longer because of regenerative braking doing most of the braking for you. So even some systems that electric cars do have and will need service for end up needing it far less. This will end up saving you quite a bit when calculating your overall cost of ownership. It's a big benefit of going electric. Now, the 8th benefit of a Tesla is safety. First are safety systems that Teslas include with all cars. These are becoming more standard in vehicles across the board, and these aren't something that can only be enabled in electric vehicles, but they help out a lot to prevent an accident. Built-in active safety features for Teslas include emergency braking, forward collision warning, side collision warning, obstacle-aware acceleration, blind spot monitoring, lane departure avoidance, and emergency lane departure avoidance. These assist in preventing an accident, but if you do get into an accident, Tesla makes the safest cars available. The battery pack is a significant contributor to safety here, helping Tesla to earn 5 stars in all categories from NHTSA for all of their vehicles. The Model Y earned the IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus in late 2021, and Tesla said, quote, "Like all Teslas, Model Y benefits from the same structural architecture that make our other vehicles so safe: energy-absorbing side sills that act as side impact crumple zones, a fortified battery pack mounted low in the vehicle to reduce rollover risk, and a metal body structure that can withstand many times the car's weight." That weight concentrated on the bottom of the vehicle is something that only electric cars can bring, and it significantly helps reduce rollover risk in the event of an accident. The 9th benefit of an electric car or Tesla is storage space. The Model Y looks like a beefed up Model 3 with a pretty sloped back roof, but it packs a lot of storage space. Tesla quotes 76 cubic feet of cargo space in this car, and it's because there's a lot of storage available in areas that you don't normally have in a vehicle this size. Not only is there space in the hatchback trunk, but there is an extremely large understorage compartment underneath that bed in the trunk. On each side of the trunk are deep side cubbies that give you more space, and there's even a second shallow understorage compartment up there as well. Up front, since there is no engine, this space is available to you via what Tesla calls the frunk, and it's pretty significant. I can fit multiple paper grocery bags up here or a carry-on size suitcase. Each of their cars has storage like this, and many new electric cars have tons of extra storage available as well because they are electric. The Model Y also has some room under the front seats that you can utilize with the right accessory. Last up is the 10th benefit of a Tesla or electric car, and that's long-term sustainability. We already talked about how electric cars can be driven sustainably. You can use sustainably generated electricity, and in the future this will become much more abundant. Additionally, even when driven from electricity generated by coal, they are way more efficient. But what happens at the end of the battery life? If we end up with millions of batteries in landfills, that won't end up fixing many issues. Tesla explains this in detail and has actually released several incredibly in-depth reports about their sustainability practice from the raw materials to vehicle end of life. But in response to this specific question, they say, quote, "Unlike fossil fuels, which release harmful emissions into the atmosphere that are not recovered for reuse, materials in a Tesla lithium-ion battery are recoverable and recyclable. Battery materials are refined and put into a cell and will still remain in the cell at the end of their life, when they can be recycled to recover its valuable materials for reuse over and over again." They follow that up to say, quote, "None none of our scrapped lithium-ion batteries go to landfilling, and 100% are recycled. So while many have valid arguments against the sustainability of electric vehicles, they just don't hold up when looking at it in detail. EVs are a realistic, sustainable option to help shift away from reliance on fossil fuels. They also bring many benefits, as we saw throughout this video. The biggest hurdle right now for electric cars is that with all of these benefits, they are still pricey. Battery prices went up in the past year and not down as we needed them to. Long term, this should be fixed with true EV scaling from many companies, but it's a long process. Hopefully soon enough, we can see some truly affordable EVs come to market so everyone can experience these great benefits. In the meantime, if you want to see my full review of one of the most expensive EVs out there that has the longest range of any EV shipped, the Lucid Air, you can check that out linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.